Reading from the New International Version, Romans 8:14. Because those who are led by the Spirit of God are sons of God. For you did not receive the spirit that makes you a slave again to fear, but received the spirit of sonship, and by him we cry, Abba, Father. And the parallel passage, I'll just read that real quick, is in Galatians 4:6, where it talks about, because you are sons of God, God sent the Spirit of His Son into your hearts, the Spirit who cries out, Abba, Father. So you are no longer a slave, but a son. And since you are a son, God has made you also an heir. And the thing I wanted to look at there was that whole concept of God as Father and the Abba Father. Any of you ever heard about that word Abba and what that word means? Abba Father? Just see. Someone's probably heard it before. You may not remember. I don't know. You probably heard it at some point in time where it talked about it. Anything? Aha! Good. You can learn something today then. that Abba Father, that idea, that word there in the Greek is it's a very intimate term, and it's kind of like daddy. It's a real closeness to the Father, where you're just like, hey daddy. It's almost like you're in his lap looking up at him saying dada. just very intimate, very close, very much that relationship of, this is my Father, I'm the child. He's that loving Father. He's that one that is the provider, the protector, the shield, the one I can rely on for whatever I need. It's a very, very intimate, close, very reliant on Him and His power and who He is. And what's interesting is, and I didn't really think about this before or necessarily realize it that much, but there is actually one place in Scripture where Jesus calls God Abba Father. Yeah. And do you know where that is, or what the situation is? Do you remember?
No, when He was on the cross.
Okay, when He was on the cross, He's like, Father, into my hands I commit my spirit. Yeah. The word Abba is not there, but just prior to that, when He's in the garden, in Matthew, or is it Mark? Let me make sure so I give you the right reference. Did I close it? In it's either Mark 14:6 or Matthew 4. Mark 14:6. He says in the garden, He says, Abba, Father, all things are possible for you. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. And so He's saying, He's like, hey, Daddy, anything's possible for you. You could take this cup from me, but you know what? Not my will, but yours be done. I mean, really, that's kind of pulling out the trump card on that. Him saying, Abba, Father, Him saying, hey, Daddy. This is like, if you're a father and a child comes to you and they're like, but Daddy, it's where your heart kind of breaks and you're like, okay, I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to, you got me. You got me on that one. And that's what Jesus is doing with God in the garden. He's pulling out that trump card saying, hey, Abba, Father, if it's possible, all things are possible for you. Take this cup from me. And that really puts a whole new perspective and a deeper perspective on what's happening in the garden when Jesus is crying out to Him, saying, Abba, Father. But